All right, welcome one and all to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I am your host, John. And if you could kindly hit that like and subscribe button, it means a lot to us. And yeah, for some reason I got a little off here on the camera angle. And let's move it back. Yeah, I know. This is what podcasts are all about, right? Trying to move the environment, right? Leave some comments. I always like seeing what people have to say. Always gets the juices going. Did a nice podcast with Brian the other day. I miss Scott. Scott, man, it's just not the same without you, buddy. I don't know if you're hearing this, but thank you. Thank you for everything you do. And let's get to what's going on in the world of sports. We're Wednesday. We're going to recap what happened on Tuesday. And I think the biggest thing was NCAA President Charlie Baker told hundreds of assembled college athletics officials and administrators that the recent House settlement, the multi-billion-dollar House settlement, was a very good thing for college athletics. It comes with choices instead of bankruptcy, and maybe that's true because they could have faced literally thousands of individual plaintiff lawsuits. You don't know where that's going to go. They're able to put that into a civil law or into a class action lawsuit and deal with it. But to me, the bigger thing is, and I keep harping on it, is they are engaging in collusion. Straight up, no doubt about it. It is all collusion because it is so goddamn stupid what they are doing. Form unions, collectively bargain, because what you are doing is, without collective bargaining, you are setting salary caps on how much schools can spend. That is restraint of trade. That is collusion. Like I've talked about, it's exactly what baseball did back in the day. They basically said, we're not going to sign any free agents. They lost multiple years. Now, did it end up being cheaper because I think they only had to pay $300 million? Yeah, probably was. But at the end of the day, you cannot artificially cap the potential wages that somebody makes unless you have already bargained that in. That's why the NFL needs the union. They do, straight up, because that's the only way they're going to get a salary cap. Personally, if I was the head of the union, I'd say, hey, you know what? We're going to decertify the union. Let's just go it alone. Then the owners would be in big trouble. They would be literally in trouble because then the cap doesn't exist. You get a rogue owner who says, hey, I'm going to spend $500 million this year. All right, good luck. Go ahead. And if they don't, well, there's collusion. They would be caught between a rock and a hard place. The baseball talked about decertifying the union a couple of years ago. They didn't do it because there's obviously too many people on the dole, union officials. They don't want to give up that moneymaker. Oh, no, Tony Clark. Ah, Jesus, I don't even want to get into what I think of Tony Clark. All right. So, they got through this hurdle. They're going to head down, I'm going to say, 3-4 years. There's going to be a collusion lawsuit. They're going to lose that. They're going to be belly up. Football, the only way they are going to do this is to create unions with the basketball, the football, probably baseball. And then the rest they can put into a fund. That may work. I don't know. They're trying to go on the cheap and they're going to end up screwing themselves. That's just really what's going on. There is no other way to look at it. Aaron Rodgers talked about joining Tomlin and the Steelers. He says it's good for the soul. I don't know what that idiot is talking about. I don't even know how to describe him. I don't see it going very well there. Tomlin's a great coach. He's trying for one more chance of getting at the ring. He doesn't want to draft a rookie because obviously he doesn't do a very good job of it. He got there when Roethlisberger was there. Cowher mentored him, got him there. He just doesn't do a good job of bringing out quarterbacks. It's just what it is. Pete Carroll does. I'm excited to see what they do in Vegas with Geno Smith because Pete Carroll knows how to deal with quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. That guy knows what he's doing. Let's get to the NBA. Tonight we have Game 3 in the NBA Finals. OKC goes to Indiana, tied 1-1. And we're going to see what OKC is really made of. They are a 5-point favorite in tonight's game. I think everybody is kind of expecting a gentleman's sweep, 4-1, but I do have a funny feeling Indiana is going to pull off a victory in one of these two games and send it back to OKC at 2-2. We shall see. The New York Knicks, in their pursuit to find a head coach, were rejected by both the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves for Imi Udoka and Chris Finch, that they could talk to their coaches about coming there. Sorry, not sorry. You can't talk to our coach. They're under contract. Good luck. I got a funny feeling it's going to be a little more desperate than we could have thought. I don't know what they're going to end up with. Jay Wright still might be on the ticket. Let's talk about Major League Baseball. Roman Anthony, the highly touted Red Sox prospect, got his first hit yesterday in front of his family. It was a beautiful moment. I was really happy for him. You go, Roman Anthony, and don't let the Red Sox management try and screw you out of any money that you truly deserve. All right, let's go to what happened on the baseball field. We had the Tigers beating the Orioles 5-3. Tigers are 20 games over 500. Is that amazing or what? 20 games. I'm telling you, they are a legitimate World Series threat with Skubal and Mize at the top of that rotation. Flaherty is actually pretty good, too, as your number 3. The Reds beat the Guardians 1-0. Didn't know if that was going to happen. The Reds finally are eking over 500. They're 35-33. Terry Francona actually seems like he's got that team playing really well. Marlins beat the Pirates 3-2. Alcantara got a nice win. He is 3-7 with a 7.1 ERA, but man, I'll tell you what, Miami sure would like to see some signs of life from him because that would really heat up the trading deadline. The Cubs beat the Phillies 8-4. They are 15 games over 500. 41-26 are your Cubbies. Thebar got this win. He is 2-1 with a 1.8 ERA. Not bad. Walker got the loss for the Phillies, who been kind of in a slump. I know they're 38-29, but man, it just seems like something's off there. Red Sox bounced back after a tough loss on Monday. They beat the Rays 3-1. Trevor Story got a win. Giolito 2-1 with a 5.45 ERA got the win. Surprised. I figured he'd give up 5 runs in the first 2 innings anyway. Mets beat the Nationals in 10, 5-4. Garrett gets the win. He's 2-2 with a under 1 ERA. Well done, young man. Well done. Brewers beat the Braves 4-1. You know, I got to give the devil his due. Brian is right. The Braves are done. I don't even know what we're doing here, right? The Braves are 28-38. I mean, maybe we're going to see a streak where they win 6 out of 7, but man, it's just done. All right, the Yankees went into Kauffman Stadium and rolled 10-2. The big thing is for me, I'm looking at Max Fried, and Brian mentioned this a little while ago, that might have been the best free agent pickup. He signed that $220 million deal to go to the Yankees. He's 9-1 with a 1.84 ERA. He was just dealing against the Royals. I mean, yeah, it helps when Judge hits a home run, but man, oh man, he is dealing. The Rangers seem to be snapping out of that losing streak a little. They beat the Twins 16-4. Molly got the win 6-3 with a 2.3 ERA. And I'm going to tell you something with the Baldy, the Grom, Molly, they have a really good starting staff. Their relief is kind of itchy. I think their GM is going to be really dealing at the trade deadline for some middle relief because I think that's the only thing they're really missing. The Blue Jays beat the Cardinals 10-9. Bassett, wow, there's a Chris Bassett signing. He got the win. He is 7-3 with a 3.7 ERA. Congratulations, young man. You are doing well. The White Sox beat the Astros 4-2. White Sox 23-44. Maybe you're going to get the 55 wins this year. I don't know. We're going to see. McCullers took the loss, which I got to be honest, I'm not supposed to root for anybody, but I am rooting for McCullers coming back from the cancer and, you know, the gambler threatening to kill him and his wife and his kids. You know, I'd like to see what the repercussions is. Gambling is going to be a big problem. These athletes deal with enough crap as it is. They don't need people hounding them because they didn't get 5 strikeouts that night. You know what I mean? The Giants beat the Rockies 6-5. Oh man, I watched that game, and the Rockies were up 5-2 in the 8th inning. The Giants rally. They take a 6-5 lead, and lo and behold, Rockies get a couple guys on base. No, they pull Rockies. Sorry, double play, strikeout, pop out. That's it. Game over. Angels beat the Athletics 2-1 in 10 innings. Detmers gets the win. He's 2-2. He's their relief pitcher. The Angels are actually almost at 500. They're 32-34. They're playing pretty well. They're 14-16 at home, and they're actually 500 on the road. That's pretty impressive. Padres put an ass whooping to the Dodgers 11-1. They're only a couple games back. They're only a game back from the Dodgers. They do play the rubber game in the series tomorrow in San Diego. Cease got the win. He's 2-5 with a 4.28 ERA. He's actually having kind of a bad year. Dodgers ran out sour, and honestly, I mean, I'm just waiting for them to make the call for me to come in and pitch. Diamondbacks destroyed the Mariners 10-3. Vaught got the win. He's 8-4 with a 5.5 ERA. That's what we got. Today's kind of the get out day. You know, we got games all over the circuit, you know, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, going all the way till 7 o'clock at night. So getaway day is going to be interesting. All right, that's it from Off the Rails Sports Podcast. And if you could hit that like and subscribe button, it means a lot to us. And hey, live on the edge. Leave some comments. And if there's a sport you want us to talk about, yeah, bring it up. That's cool. Scott and I kind of really went off the deep end a lot of times. You know, he even talked about bowling, and I showed what a nerd I was by understanding who Randy Peterson was and Jason Belmonte. I was actually watching some bowling today. Jesus Christ, I got to get a life. All right, that's it from Off the Rails Sports Podcast, and we'll see you soon.